Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho quadruple murders that took place on the 13th of November 2022. May the victims rest in peace, condolence to their families, and may Hanah Cleo rest in peace too, condolence to her family. Who is Hanah Cleo? Hanah Cleo was born in 2000. She died in 2022, in February 2022. In the beginning of this case, there was rumors and speculations going on online about Hanah Cleo. The reason is that allegedly Hanah Cleo was bullied by one of the victims, Madison Morgan. That was the rumor going on from the people in Idaho Moscow College. On the 15th of November was Hanah's birthday, and the quadruple murders took place on the 13th of November. So I guess people were making some kind of connections, stating that this was revenge, because allegedly Hanah Cleo's brother promised to take revenge for the death of his sister. But that is all alleged. Hanah took her over-counter sleeping medication. She was found 3 days later dead. May she rest in peace. We wouldn't know if that is due to bullying, if there was any underlying conditions she had, but rumors was going around, and some people put it up on social media. Some people who knew Hanah Cleo had to state this. You can read this if you want to. It states, a University of Idaho student passed away this weekend, according to an email from the Dean of Students, Blaine Eccles, earlier today. Hanah Cleo, originally from Provo, Utah, died in Moscow over the weekend. A junior at the University of Idaho, Cleo studied English literature. As a community, we collectively mourn the loss of Hanah and share our sincere condolence with her family and friends who are most impacted by her passing. Eccles stated that in the email. And there was places students could contact, I'm sure, for counseling and testing centers, because obviously this is a tragedy to lose someone so young. It is a loss. Although I don't like reading this is what was put up online. You deserved everything that happened to you, especially after what you did to the poor girl. You elitists are all the same. I'll be reserving my spit once they properly bury you. Now that is extremely rude. Very saddening to read that actually people have a heart to put up such things, whether it's true or untrue. They were talking about Madison Morgan, because allegedly they said that Madison and her friends were bullying Hanah Cleo. These were the few pictures I could find of Hanah Cleo. Condolence to her family. Any loss is a loss. We don't know what Hanah was going through when she overdosed of the over-counter sleeping pills. She could have taken too much and overdosed, or maybe her body did not react well with the pills. We know of side effects. We have to keep that in mind. This was another one that was put up. Man for Panda. She deserved it. Each and every one of them deserved what they got. Karma finally caught up to the horror. All of a gang did it. That little girl, they did it back to... Basically, let me start this again. It's written from Man for Panda. She deserved it. Each and every one of them deserved what they got. Karma finally caught up to the horror of all of a gang did to that little girl back then. These are all alleged. We don't know if these are people just trolling and putting it out on the internet, or if these are people who allegedly knew Hanah Cleo and put this up. And then the person continues by saying, not saying anyone deserves what happened, but you can see in the food truck video the way Maddie just kind of plows through the group of three like they don't even exist, and then starts trying to grab other people's food. She definitely didn't have manners. Yeah, you can say, but she was drunk. But my opinion is people's true colors show when they're drunk. This is somebody who put that up too, allegedly. And I don't think they should be judging anyone who's dead. Condolence to all the 4 victims. Condolence to Hanah Cleo. But let's see what more articles were put up. To clarify, Hanah Cleo took her life in February 2022. Apparently, she shared a dorm with one of the victims and got bullied. Her birthday would have been on the 15th of November. So they're trying to say that somebody in her family or student is a suspect. We've heard that her brother promised to take revenge. But when people are upset and angry of the loss of their loved ones, they could say things that they really don't mean. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that because Hanah died of an overdose, that somebody took revenge for her. But I understand where people come to this conclusion or even think about it, because the police told us clearly that this was an isolated incident. They told us this was a targeted attack. So that's why maybe speculations rose. Now, bullying is a very sad thing. Nobody in life deserves to be bullied. But it does happen for whatever reason. And I'm sure if someone close to a victim who's been bullied and overdosed themselves would obviously, if you're a sibling or a parent, you could live in grief, and that grief can turn into hate, revenge, and such things. But I'm sure that the police has looked into this case from the start, and they must have been seeing all these internet speculations, and they must have looked closer into the family. But it is a coincidence that this happened on one day before Hanah's birthday. May she rest in peace. So could someone have taken revenge since this was a targeted attack? Allegedly. But this is where I found things to be a bit interesting. Scott Cleer is the father of Hanah. Condolence for your loss, sir. I am Hanah's father and have read the autopsy report and spoken with the coroner, an investigating officer. Hanah died from an overdose of an OTC sleep medication. There's no evidence of foul play. The police officers who found Hanah's body were there because I called the Moscow police and requested a welfare check. She died on the 24th, that was February 2022, and was found on the 27th. Please respect my family's privacy and honor Hanah's memory. I agree with him there. Totally. Condolence to your loss. What I find to be a bit strange is if she died on the 24th of February 2022, how come her body was found on the 27th? Isn't that a bit strange? Her body was found 3 days later. Wasn't she sharing a dorm with Maddie Morgan and other girls? How come nobody reported her death? The father had to call in for a welfare checkup so that the police officers who found Hanah's body found it on the 27th. She died on the 24th. That is a bit sus for me. Because you can understand if somebody dies and nobody has discovered their death, that is usually, you expect that from somebody who lives by themselves, who's quite isolated, who doesn't have a good social network, who may not be close to their family or may not have family members around, or may not have contact with their family and friends. But for someone like Hanah Cleer to be a young student in Idaho, Moscow, and she was allegedly sharing a room or dorm with Maddie Morgan and other girls, I assume, how come nobody reported her death on the 24th, 25th, 26th? She was found on the 27th. That would upset any family. Allegedly, I'm not saying that somebody took revenge for Hanah, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody came to that idea, or somebody, maybe a sibling, because we heard that Hanah's brother was really lost and really broken over her death. And we can hear some friends or read articles of friends actually saying that they would spit on someone's grave, which is really rude, extremely rude. Could there be something to Hanah Cleer's death? 3 days. So she was lying dead on the 24th, 25th, 26th, and she was found on the 27th. That's the reason the dean of the university was offering counseling. Poor girl. If she was bullied, nobody should be bullied and nobody should lose their life in such a manner. Did she accidentally overdose with the sleeping tablets? Or did she overdose on her own terms because she was being fed up? She was just fed up of being bullied. That remains to be seen, but I can understand why people would think that this is a targeted attack. This is where Hanah Cleer lived and died. May she rest in peace. She shared a dorm or a room or flat with Maddie Morgan. It's really sad, really sad. May she rest in peace. But I find it kind of a red flag that she was found 3 days later. Why didn't anyone report her death? This is Hanah. So my question is, could this be related to the Idaho Moscow murders, quadruple murders? This could be a motive. I'm not saying it was the motive, but it could be a motive because since it was a targeted attack, could Hanah's brothers or brother come and take in revenge? Because we do have Maddie Morgan, who was one of the victims. February to November is just 8 months apart. Maybe it was unbearable for someone who was close to Hanah and believed that they just had to do it in honor of this girl who overdosed herself. But I just find it difficult to understand why the father had to call for a welfare check to the Idaho Moscow police, and they found her dead 3 days later. She died on the 24th, may she rest in peace, of February 2022. She was found on the 27th. And she was allegedly sharing a dorm or a flat or apartment with Madison Morgan. Was Madison Morgan on vacation and the other girls that they did not notice that Hanah is dead? Because we know that when somebody dies, although I hate to say this, a dead body, a deceased person, you start getting certain smells in the house. So how come nobody discovered this poor, innocent young woman dead in a bed? And since we've heard some people on the internet saying that the 4 victims or Maddie deserved this for what she did to Hanah, could it be possibly any links to it? This is all allegedly, this is all speculations. I don't know what to honestly think of this, but we know that revenge, jealousy, hate, love, lust, money, all these things can be motives to a killing. Please write your feedback or comments in the comment section. But guys, please be mindful. Let's respect the dead and let's respect the living. May they rest in peace. Bye.